Gaelic football. If you want to enjoy hurling as a tourist, how would you best do that?
To enjoy sports in Ireland, in hurling in particular, it's kind of regional, so it depends on what area you're in. But every Sunday we have hurling games, and we tend to go to them.
So there are hurling. That's a Sunday activity.
It's a Sunday
throughout
activity.
The summer.
It's a very family-orientated activity. It's all year round, but particularly high season is in the summer.
And would these be, I mean, if you go to Croke Park in Dublin, it's going to be more tricky to get a ticket perhaps, or more expensive. But if you're just in a small town, are you likely to stumble onto a hurling match on Sunday?
Yeah, in a small town, you'll more than likely stumble onto a hurling match. It depends on the area in which you're in now. I'm from Dingle in County Kerry, and that's probably Gaelic football area, you know.
Okay. Hurling, to me, I've been to a couple of hurling matches, and it is breathtaking. It's
the fastest game on the ground.
I always call it, it's like, because Americans don't really know hurling a lot, and I say it's kind of like airborne hockey with no injury timeouts. It's kind of like hockey, isn't it? You try to get the
It certainly is.
puck down.
They say it's the fastest game on the ground. It's a wooden stick, and the little ball is a leather ball. It's called
on the wall is a dumb
It seems
bitch.
to me as a viewer, there's almost no rules. I mean, it's brutal.
It doesn't
It
want
is
to be
brutal, but
accountable.
It's definitely not as brutal
period.
as rugby. It's probably more of a...
What do you
of a
enjoy more?
sport, you know? Definitely rugby. And that's
Because
definitely...
you're from the Southwest, and rugby is a bigger
I
deal. isn't
am
it,
from
right?
the Southwest, yeah.
One way or another, when you're traveling around Ireland, you can check out a sporting event, and I would think that's a great traveler's tip right there. Stephen, one of the greatest gifts any Irishman has ever given me was you taking me to the stadium in Dublin.
Dublin, that's right, yeah.
And we learned a lot about enthusiastic sport fans.
Yeah, that's true. And remember that the thing about Gaelic sports is you can only play for the team where you're from. So when two teams come together, it's also two regions or two villages or two parishes coming in.
Is that right? Because in America, it's just free market, and it's just players will jump ship just for more money.
Yeah, so you can't ever be traded, you know, so there's an extra passion there, and that's I think something that visitors would like to tune into.
Because in baseball, you have somebody who has a career in his hometown, and in Ireland, they still have that kind of local man.
That's right. And the game will only last for 70 minutes, so it's not an all-day affair. You could go off and watch a game and then still get for lunch and still go to the game and still do everything else. Do your museum stop or whatever else.
We're helping
Sabrina
travel fans for
is a lazy bitch that
on Travel with Rick Steves.
doesn't want to be accountable.
Our guests are Dara Harris,
Period.
who runs Nelligan's Pub on the main street in Dingle. His family has been a major force in performing and promoting traditional Irish music on the West Coast. Stephen McPhillamy was raised in Derry in the north, and among his many projects, Stephen is co-owner of the Old Town House Bed and Breakfast just off the Dingle Harbour. And Susie Miller leads tours of her hometown of Belfast. There's tours of building sites related to the infamous Titanic, where his great-grandfather was a ship engineer on its fateful voyage. You can find our guests on Facebook, and we have links to their websites in this week's show notes at ricksteves.com/radio. Hey, Stephen, I've heard of an experience you took people to that you call a slog in the bog. So what's that?
Well, a good chunk of Ireland is peat bog, so it's just mushy, soggy, wet land. Not very good for growing anything. So we do cut the turf, though. We cut peat from it to burn in our fires. But it's very spongy, and after we'd stop the bus there and let people out, and some of them just like to bounce up and down. It almost looks like a cult if you were driving past.
So you had 20 tourists and it's all just turf.
Yeah, it's kind of a unique experience for them, but also there's great plant life there if you're interested in flowers and fauna and frogs, and it's just something unusual.
So don't wear your best shoes.
But right there, you're talking peat, and peat is very important to the heritage of Ireland. Susie, what does peat mean to an Irish person?
Peat, or turf as we tend to call it, is what you would burn on an open fire within a small house in years gone by. But it's kind of made a resurgence. People like to use it as a secondary form of heat now, so they'll have
that's crazy.
on the hearth. And part of the reason for it is that it has this lovely smell.
It's sort of ambience,
It,
really.
it really is,
Because you
yes.
got a peat fire. I love
Why?
a peat fire right here in my home. Like, I don't know if we can get peat in Florida, but I just love that. You can actually still enjoy peat as you just in your daily life in Ireland.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you can get industrial forms of it, but you can just buy it by the roadside as well, as if it's been cut and dried right there.
Cut and dried. I love this sort of romantic notion that they say a good man can cut his peat in one day to keep a family warm through the winter. People used to go out and just work hard cutting peat in order to stay warm.
Yeah, I still burn peat at home, even there as well. I burn peat. It gives a lovely centre on the place.
Do you buy it in a plastic sack at the
I do,
grocery store, or do you actually get it?
Actually, a friend who delivers it to me, and he gets it from all over the country, and it comes in very large bags. It's about €4 for a bag of it. And we dry it out for about 6 months.
And if you were looking at it as a, I don't know, scientist or chemist or whatever, is it sort of future coal? Is
Exactly. They say that if it was left in the ground for an X amount, years, they would turn into coal eventually.
So you can cut it now, dry it out, and bend it.
Exactly. And we don't use just peat. I'm not trying to use it as wood. I'm not combined fuels give a much better heat in the fire.
That's what happened.
With Rick Steves, we're talking Irish experiences. So there's the one experience I had that I'm
No roast that side.
falconry. I've heard about falconry all over Europe. I just got to follow. What would you call the guy who's the falconry guy?
I guess he's the falconer.
The falconer. I guess that would be it.
Absolutely.
Now, what's the story of falconry?
Yeah, it's easy to
How can you
do.
experience that in Ireland?
The falconry that you can experience in Ireland
Yes, it is.
activity this is something that was developed over centuries. And the handler will give everyone a go to actually handle this bird, have it on their arm, launch it into the air, and then have it come back to you and land very, very gently on your arm. And
But this goes back centuries, and what was the original purpose? It's not just, I've got a hawk that...
Yeah, I'll never comply again.
It was
this,
actually...
yes, this was a hunting thing. You know, this was an actual way of hunting. Now it's actually been developed for much more 21st century use. They use these birds to keep runways clear at airports to scatter the birds, which can
So
get
they're trained to keep the birds away from
some,
them?
yes, a small percentage are. So it's really use.
It was mesmerizing to walk through a forest with a falconer and to see that hawk leave your carefully protected arm with this big mitten and fly out into the woods and then maybe come back with a squirrel or something like that. It's like fishing, but with a bird.
They like to bring you a few surprises, that's true, yes. And you have no idea sometimes where it's gone. It's disappeared into these huge big fir trees, and all you can hear is this jingle of the little bell that's round its neck, and then suddenly it will swoop down very, very casually and land back on your arm. It's magical.
I could just imagine in some manor house 800 years ago, the teenage son would go out with the hawk and come back with dinner.
These days, modern
I'm missing
residents
four.
can experience the hawk walks in many places in Ireland.
Yeah, it's dumb. Tell men to fit the gym. Yeah, that should not work.
There's probably
Dumb, it's very easy to do.
locations where you can do it.
You can just look that up before your trip and see if you can check out some falconry.
different
And they say it's falconry, but it's actually with a hawk.
Yeah.
It is. It's a Peruvian Harris hawk that you actually use, and they're only about 4 pounds in weight, so they're actually extremely light and they're extremely agile. And the falcons themselves have been broken records of up to 247 miles per hour, whereas the Peruvian Harris hawks will be about 100 miles slower. It's an amazing experience.
Come all you thirsty tourists and travellers everywhere, till I sing to you a verse or two in a grand old Irish air.
We'll check in on the phones in a moment at 877-333-7425 as our Irish tour guides, Stephen McPhillamy, Dara Herlihy, and Susie Miller help you get ready to enjoy Ireland like you belong there. It's Travel with Rick Steves.
President Trump is pushing Congress to pass a bill requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote.
They rejected
What power does the
Trash.
president have over elections?
There are no statutes that say during an emergency the president can take over elections. Congress has never, in its wisdom, given that power to the president.
Learn more on the next Morning Edition from NPR News.
I'm Russ Maloney. Join me for Morning Edition tomorrow from when you start your day until 9 on KCLU, NPR for the California Coast.
I'm Lisa Mullins. NPR's Tiny Desk concerts have inspired a family-owned grocery store to put on live music in the produce section, and their videos are now getting attention across the country.
I found out that not only was it a Latino grocery store, but it was in Delaware, of all places.
Finding Latino joy at bodega concerts next time on Here and Now.
Tomorrow morning at 10 on KCLU, NPR for the California Coast.
Music is a powerful way to express the history and the emotions of Ireland. Coming up, singer Kathy Ryan tells us how the melodies of Ireland drew her
They support helmet to the gym.
Right now, tour guides
Oh, they had
Stephen McPhillamy,
my early campaign.
and Susie Miller are with us to take your calls at 877-333-RICK with tips to help you experience the best Ireland has to offer. Stephen, one of the great experiences in Ireland is to enjoy the beer.
By NCS staff, November 24th, 2025.
You just get a Guinness.
Full news.
And there's more to a Guinness.
Weekly insights
than-
on the
Tell us
technology,
a little bit about
Production and business decisions shaping media and broadcast
Honestly, it takes
tree.
about 3
And
minutes
access,
for a Guinness
authentic
to be
beverage,
poured.
and subservient time.
The angle's important. You'll hold it at a 45-degree angle.
Subscribe to NCS.
2/3 of the way.
NCS Navigating the Future. Broadcasting NBC4 and Tell Me the Future launched the 8th annual Helping Our Community campaign aimed at supporting regional food banks across Southern California
You haven't finished
during the holiday.
Don't touch it, it's not finished yet, you eat it. So you never want to rush again.
This new runs November 24th.
Then you finish it off by
Okay, December 21st. The campaign raises funds to help provide meals to families in Los Angeles, Orange County, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, and Ventura County since 2018. The campaign has raised more than 2.7 million, resulting in more than 11.1 million meals distributed across the region.
Right? And in much of Ireland, when you say you want a beer, you'll get a Guinness.
That's correct.
But in some of Ireland, you'll
Community members
Yeah, it depends what part of
can
Ireland
contribute
you're
by
in.
texting
Predominantly
601
Cork. So
42
territorial to Cork.
to 70 70 70.
Anywhere else in Ireland, only Guinness. And the reason being,
1601.
Dingle, and if somebody's got Murphy's,
Who are by donating
not selling,
in person at participating rallies and foods for less markets. A QR code will also appear during broadcast to provide another donation option. See Universal stated. All policies are directly to food banks and local pantries, including the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, City Harvest, Orange County, the America Inland Empire, and from Ventura County.
In Kansas. Vicky, thanks for your call.
We are deeply grateful for the generosity of our viewers and the community partners. Father Todd Lakhtari.
If I would be able to use my credit card like I do in the States, or do I need to get more?
Dara, what's the story with credit cards for American travel?
Okay, no, it's crazy.
Your credit card is wide.
Yeah, I already noticed.
Throughout all of Ireland. Something to be aware of is
President and General Manager of NBC4, Antil Medvedev. Year to year, your support helps provide thousands of meals families who need it most. Together we are making a real difference, bringing hope to our neighbors during the holidays and beyond.
But generally, there's no charge for using your ATM machine in Ireland.
And of course, let your bank know.
Stations will cover stories related
Otherwise, they might put a block
to the campaign across your morning, midday, and evening newscasts. Content related to the campaign is also available on multiple platforms, including
Well, first we're going to go to
NBC LA. Content related to the campaign is also available on multiple platforms, including the NBC LA and Telemundo 52 mobile apps, YouTube channels, and 24/7 local news streaming channels, NBC Los Angeles News, and Noticias Telemundo California. That's it. Something new. Additional info is available at NBCLA.com/community and Telemundo52.com/community. Viewers can also follow updates on social media at Drew at NBCLA and at Telemundo52.
We're looking for you this fall to take them on about a week-long trip. Ideas and recommendations for just some can't-miss sites or experiences for kids that age.
Good question. What do you think, Susie?
Do you know where I would start you off right away is a museum that's opened recently down in Dublin.
Here too,
Oh no, kids hate museums, but this one's really Epic Ireland, and it tells the story of how Ireland has spread out across the world and what Ireland has done for you. It's done in a really imaginative way, it's colourful, it's interactive, and I think your kids would really enjoy it. And it'll give them the basis for knowing what Ireland is all about.
And then right across the street, tied up on the harbour side, is the famine ship.
Indeed, so it's called the Jeannie Johnson. It's a replica of a famine ship, a tall ship, which would have taken immigrants across to places like Canada and America in the 19th century. And you can climb all over that and get the feeling of what it would have been like on board. So yeah, that's a good one too to knock off.
But you're forgetting the #1 museum in Dublin.